Millville, Connecticut is home to a piece of American history. In Cumberland County, an airfield, Millville Municipal Airport. In 1941, it became America's first defense airport, playing a key role in World War II military operations. It opened as a gunnery school for fighter pilots, training in the Republic P-47. In 4 years, 1,500 pilots were trained on this aircraft before defending the country from threats in Europe and the Pacific. This aircraft was nicknamed Thunderbolt, now the name of one of the tracks in the complex that sits adjacent to the airfield today. Built on 500 acres of land, New Jersey Motorsports Park contains two courses, Thunderbolt and Lightning, named after the P-38 fighter. The 2.25-mile Thunderbolt course has 12 turns, rising and climbing over crests and twisting and turning through the New Jersey countryside. Long straights, including the Jersey Devil, let speeds climb before heavy braking zones into sweeping corners. The lap finishes with a seemingly endless right-hander before snapping left and heading back to start-finish. It's been graced by national-level racing, Grand Am, ARCA, Trans Am, and the AMA Superbike Championship. At New Jersey Motorsports Park, drivers go to war. It means something different now than it did then, but the ultimate goal is still to win. It may only have opened in 2008, meaning history is being written rather than read, but the ground on which it lays has rumbled for over half a century, under Thunderbolts since 1941. The blue skies of Millville, Connecticut used to be filled with the roar of engines. Once a training ground for World War II pilots, Cumberland County was home to over 1,500 men training to fly and fight in P-47 Thunderbolt aircraft. Over a half-century later, the sounds of engines still roar across the New Jersey countryside. Now, though, it's the sound of race cars at New Jersey Motorsports Park, tonight at the Thunderbolt configuration. Tonight, the Washington, D.C. region SCCA iRacing League teams up with the American Sedan League, running 2 consecutive events at this 2.15 12-turn road course. We'll start off with a 25-minute race in the FR500 Mustang with American Sedan, and then transfer straight into a multi-class 35-minute race with the Kia Optima Touring Car and Global Mazda MX-5. Welcome to Sim TV. My name is Kyle. We're joined tonight by Finney and DeCuna for 2 races this evening with the American Sedan League and the DC Region SCCA iRacing League. Qualifying now almost complete here for the Ford FR500 Mustangs. We've got about a 20-car grid. This is going to be fun. We don't get to go here often, Finney, but when we do, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, indeed it is, and especially looking at the end of qualifying here. Christopher Lapper is currently at the top of the charts. DJ Alessandrini currently sitting in second, trying to chase that lap time down. Has 2 tenths to make up on Lapras to get that pole spot. We'll see. I mean, curious to see if Alessandrini can try to get it. He's going around slow here. I think he's setting up for a fast lap.
So, for those that aren't familiar with New Jersey Motorsports Park in iRacing, we have to, of course, address the elephant in the room. This track is unfinished in iRacing. Yeah. It is currently sold as what's called a tech track, which is a track that iRacing may or may not ever get to finish. But the track is fully functional from a racing standpoint. The racetrack is there, the barriers are there, but everything else surrounding the facility, which is typically grass and a whole lot of trees, and the surrounding airport where the P-47s used to fly, that is not here. So just in case you're wondering why there's no scenery, that is why. But a completely functional racetrack, will be racing on it tonight. Qualifying almost complete, as we mentioned. Drivers that we have to keep an eye on, Daniel Richardson. He's been competing quite a bit in the Hoosier SCCA Esports Super Tour on the SCCA's channel the past couple weeks. So he's right now in 8th in qualifying with a 1:24.656. We've got about 8 drivers within within 1 second of current provisional pole sitter Christopher Lapras. Max King is here. He's another Hoosier SCCA Esports Super Tour driver here tonight in the number 20 King Brothers racing car. Alessandrini, you mentioned. Zachary Sainz. Oh, he's going to go for a ride. As there's Jake King, so both King Brothers are here. Andrew Chow, David Sanders, Dave Fitzgerald, and a very ironic... the whole situation that we're driving Mustangs at a place called Thunderbolt, that's a little ironic to me, but Dave Fitzgerald with the Mustang livery on his number 9 car down in 13th place. So 25 minutes, we're going to single class format here with the American Sedan Racing League. Then we head to the Kia and MX-5 multi-class event at the DCS CCA at about 8:30. We're going to talk to Jarrett Novak a little bit later in between those two races. He's the director of Drivers Club membership at New Jersey Motorsports Park. I talked to him a little bit earlier today. Very excited to hear about New Jersey Motorsports Park, learn a little bit more about this facility and what they're doing in 2020 to kind of combat what's going on right now in the world. So 24 seconds left, and Christopher Lapras still at the top of the board. Max King in second. DJ Alessandrini still out on track on a flying lap. And through turn number 1, he'll get another go here.
Yeah, and just started a flying lap. You can see him working through the first sector of the track. In fact, it was Max King. Oh, as he catches some grass, that might have been a 1X, depending on how far out he got. But Max King was able to get back ahead of Alessandrini up into second place, and Alessandrini back in third. You see him really pushing this Mustang around.
Yeah, and this track is so fast, Finney. You're carrying a lot of speed through these corners, and a lot of corners are just a lift, and then you turn in. You're not really downshifting a whole lot through at least the first part of the course. Then a downshift there for Alessandrini, track all the way out onto the curb. Then you run down to the more complicated final sector with a very, very long sweeping right-hander that leads into a left. This next corner, I don't know where the apex is. It's somewhere. Everyone else knows where it is. I can't figure it out for the life of me, but it's a spectacular corner for sure.
Yeah, a few laps I've done around here. I don't have enough practice to really completely figure out the apex. But you can see there's some curbing. That's not where the turn is. Here it is finally for these guys, and you can take it a million ways, and most times you're going to be wrong in the way that you're taking it through here. But now as he's heading on pretty much penultimate corner here, whoa.
And it's still slipping and sliding. This is only one of 2 facilities that New Jersey Motorsports Park has in terms of full-size racing tracks. They also have a karting facility, or 2 of them actually. But the other configuration is called Lightning. It's a little bit smaller. It's got a lot more fast corners as well, but only the Thunderbolt configuration is here in iRacing, and Alessandrini goes a 1:24.1. That's not faster than his lap he's recorded so far, so he will stay third. Lapras, King, Alessandrini, Sainz, and Kurt Rezzitano in the 37. That is going to be your top 5 here as soon as we get going in just about 45 seconds. So thanks for joining us here tonight on a Friday evening for 2 races at New Jersey Motorsports Park here in iRacing. My name again is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney DeCuna. We're Sim TV. We've been doing this for about 2 years now, and kind of a crazy time for sure. We've been doing a lot of work for the SCCA, for GT World Challenge America, for Grid Life. It's been a pretty wild ride, but the DC region SCCA has been kind of the one of the leagues that's been with us the longest now. They've been here forever, and we're glad to be back with them. So there's Alessandrini understeering off course as we get ready to go racing tonight. 25-minute race, turn 1 here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. It's a fast right-hander, big curb on the inside, a little bit of curb on the outside. We always see some trouble down there. What's the key to the race here? How careful are you on this opening lap?
I think really the key to this race is being careful through the first sector of the track. You know, you talk about how fast those turns are, and, you know, it's very little off-throttle time. You gotta see it's that section of track I'm talking about. It's in the bottom right. Oh, the blimp shut. It's fine. But yeah, it's a very fast section of track, and you're gonna be very tempted to, you know, chuck it up the inside, make some passes happen when everyone's so close together. You got to be careful though. It's very easy if you push too far to go off the track, and you know, if I don't know if you actually really want to go back to the blimp shot.
Well, I guess I will.
just for a brief second, you can see there's next to no runoff. I think there's only runoff down in turn 1, and I think that's about it.
Runoff is just not paved.
Oh yeah.
So and that's,
it's
to
grass.
drivers, it's effectively not runoff.
It's not usable runoff. It's a lot of grass, and you can, you know, get the car sideways or just go flying off the racetrack and lose a lot of spots. So you want to definitely keep the car on the pavement for tonight.
Okay, a couple housekeeping things. Let's take a look at the weather here this afternoon. 74 degrees ambient. Track surface 91 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a little bit toasty out there, to say the least. Let's run through our starting lineup here, Finney. And on the front row tonight, we talked about him earlier, Christopher Lapras, home facility for him in his 04. Same with Max King. He rolls off second at his number 20. Lapras, King on the front row.
Moving on back, it's going to be DJ Alessandrini lining up in third, in the 8 car next to him. Zachary Sainz in fourth in the 1.
In 5th place tonight on the inside, Kurt Rezzitano in the 37 out of Pennsylvania. Jake King, another New Jersey home track driver, starts 6th in his number 4.
Moving on back into 7th, we find Lex Kurashek in the 67 car. Next to him, Daniel Richardson in 8th in the 15.
In 9th place, Andrew Laquante in the 33 car to Pennsylvania. Stephen Ott, another Pennsylvanian, starts 10th in his number 7.
Going on back to 11th, we find Andrew Chow in the 29 next to him. David Sanders in 12th in the 73.
Back in 13th place tonight will be Dave Fitzgerald, the DC Region SCCA driver in the number 9 out of the Virginias, and he'll start right alongside Robbie Wilson's number 171 in 14th.
Moving on back to 15, this is going to be a 31 of Marshall Mast, and the inside next to him on the outside lane, Tony Roma in 16th.
In 17th and 18th, it'll be Robert Hines in the 17 car and Jim Karamanis in the 272. He rolls off 18th tonight, and I think that's all that we have here. It looks like Chris Durbin is here tonight, but I don't think Taberzi is, and neither will Mark Hammond. So those last two drivers not going to be racing here tonight. They did not take the grid. So we're rolling through the last sector here at New Jersey Motorsports Park, lined up for what will be approximately an 18-lap race around here. Lap time's about 124, 125. I'm all worried about turn number 1, though. This is the challenging corner for me. A big curb on the inside, keeping you really tight to the apex. And the track out, there's a little bit of runoff there, but I'm not sure you want to use all that because it goes away very quickly.
And again, that's what we're talking about. Just again, that first sector beat, keep the car on the black stuff, and you don't want to stray too far from that, especially with that curb on the inside. It can launch you into other people if you're not careful.
So pace car is going to head off and head down pit lane. It's time to go racing. The American Sedan Racing Series brought to you by Phoenix Performance. Green flag going to fly here in just a moment with King Alessandrini on the front row. As we come down the very long front straightaway, green flag in the air, racing at New Jersey Motorsports Park for the DC Region SCCA and American Sedan Racing League dual event tonight. 3 wide as we head down to the first corner here, Finian.
Everyone fanning on formation, heading down into the first corner. Alessandrini gets a punt from a driver in behind. Looks like other than that, we're all good here. Through turn number 2.
I wouldn't speak so soon. We still got 3 wide. Dave Fitzgerald in the middle of that. Up at the front, single file out car off the racetrack in the background. That looks to be Stephen Ott in the number 7 car. Yes, it is. He'll tuck in behind Robbie Wilson's 171 car, way wide off the racetrack, spinning across the field. That is Jake King in the number 4. He's going to just contact the barrier, and already his race is going to be at least severely diminished here. Up at the front, Lapras and King lead the way. Behind him, a big cluster. Cars slipping and sliding everywhere. Marshall Mast in the 33, the 31, also involved in that.
Appalante in the middle of that, and that black and yellow 33 car.
Oh, elbows out here. The Mustangs door-to-door, bumper to bumper. Everybody sliding. Still 3 wide in the middle of the field here. On the inside, the yellow car, that's David Sanders. He's got the 17 to his outside. That's Robert Hines. A little bit of bumper there, a little bit of door as well.
I'm glad they got that sorted by the time they got to the corner. I definitely don't want to be going 3 wide into the corners around here. It's a fairly tight track through some sections, so definitely want to get yourself organized. Speaking of which, whoa, Alessandrini sideways. Heading into the S's, completing the lap, and he's all got a rear view mirror full of Zachary Signs in the one in behind. Actually, he's down pulling to the inside.
Take a breath, because it's the only one you're going to get for the next 23 minutes. Side by side for 3rd place. Signs on the attack into the braking zone, and DJ's got to give him space. A little bit wide runs the 1 car.
He barely gave him space enough to make the corner, but Alessandrini falls back into 4th, looking on back. Robbie Wilson, the 171, working up the inside. It's Fitzgerald on the outside.
Fitzgerald's going to run all the way out to the edge of the curbing and use every little bit there. There's plenty about a car width in the background. That is going to be Robert Hines in the 17. That's a big hit for him here.
Yeah, you can see the engine, the car smoking. He's going to be done effectively for the day. Just gets too much curb on exit. The car just back end sideways out and wasn't able to save it.
That's a real shame. Marshall Mast has also had issues again in the 31 car. Up at the front, though, battle for the lead. Christopher Lapras in the 04. Max King right behind him. And King, his brother, went off on the opening lap, but Max King comes up the inside now. Door slammed shut by Lapras.
Yeah, Lapras doing a great job defending. Keep taking that inside lane away, and King just trying to find some way around. Gonna maybe have a look up the inside through the next corner. Lapras, great defense. You
heard him downshift, or excuse me, upshift a little bit early, just trying to short shift to get the torque to the ground a bit more effectively.
Yeah, I think we've seen, especially with some of these guys, the back end really loose when they're trying to throttle up coming out of some of these corners. It just helps keep that car planted, going in the right direction, also not burning up those rear tires.
And I have a run up the inside here into turn 1. He's going to take a look down into the first corner. Braking zone. Max King on Lapras. Lapras leaves space side by side at corner exit, and King is through into turn 2. He'll take the lead away.
See how long you'll be able to hold it for now. Every time Alessandrini's been on the screen, he's been sideways.
Well, he said he wanted to put on a show tonight. He almost didn't run this race. I had to convince him to do it because he wanted to focus on the Miata event later in the night. But there is Daniel Richardson's number 15. He started this race at 8th. A common front runner in the Hoosier SCCA Esports Super Tour. Competes up front all the time. It just goes to show you how steep the curve is here tonight, because there's a lot of talented race car drivers up at the front of this field.
Yeah, the car ahead of him, Kurt Rositano in the 37 car, you see he's got a lot of nose damage to that machine. He was the car that hit into the back Alessandrini, so you can see the resulting damage.
There is Zachary Sainz. He's got Alessandrini right behind him, and DJ's closing up here. Going to take a look up the inside, dive up underneath. This is for third, and give the spot away. Alessandrini made that look easy.
I was going to say, actually, well, I'm surprised Sainz just kind of left him the gap open. He didn't even bother defending for that, so Alessandrini will take that, go on back into third place. Now, potentially try to set his sights on the leaders who were 2.3 seconds up the road from him.
Yeah, and Max King, Christopher Lapras still nose to tail right now. I'm not sure that we've seen all of Lapras yet tonight, still kind of hanging out there about 3/10 back. Now a good run onto the front straight. He might have a look down here into turn one, or might just tuck in behind.
Yeah, he might sit on this. I think he doesn't have enough of a run. He's even going to get really close to the back of King, but not enough to make a dive down into turn one. There's still some other opportunities around this lap. You see the third place battle going on between Alessandrini, Sainz, and Rositano. He's starting to close on into this group.
Oh, look at the wiggle and the wobble over the curbs. Dave Fitzgerald's gone around. I think that's over in turn number one.
What happened to him?
Oh, there was contact there. That's the 7 car, I believe, is Stephen Ott. That was in the middle of the straightaway. Let's go back a little farther and see maybe what led to this. Here comes the 7 car of Stephen Ott to driver's right. Rafts up. And Fitzgerald, oh man, that was just, he just turned into him there, Fiddy.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what that's about.
He was trying to side draft, which, I mean, you know, it's...
Well, that's not exactly how I would do it, but...
it's not really the best car to do it in.
Oh, David Sanders is around. Stephen Ott again as well. Oh, look at this. Not a good lap for the Stephen Ott machine. And here comes Sanders up the inside. Oh, that was...
Oh, yeah, that was...
I'm not sure if you consider that a block or if he... Oh, man. What a mess.
I think he thought the 7 for a second. It looked like he was going to go right, but he held his line to the inside.
Back up at the front, Max King continues to lead. He's starting to stretch that gap on Lapras just slightly. Half a second between these two. 2.2 seconds back is Alessandrini. I'm wondering if DJ's car is more damaged than we maybe think it is, because you would think he'd be up battling for the lead already, as we have a battle for fourth, Sainz and Rositano.
Yeah, he's the second fastest of the top 3. King set the fastest lap of those guys up ahead that lap through. So I don't know. I mean, he's got some decent rear end damage, so you know, if anything, it might be the wing that could be affecting him, and the rear hurting his downforce, and that could explain him sliding around. Granted, he does drive really hard in general.
Into the middle sector here, a lot of fast corners, going to nail the curb on the inside. Then we're riding on board with Rositano now. Then they're going to downshift. Nope, he's going to stay in third here, about 60 miles an hour, track all the way out. A little bit of grass there, some counter steer to hang on to the car, and now put the pressure on Sainz for that 4th spot.
Trying to close back in. And behind them, it looks like there's a battle going between Daniel Richardson and Andrew Chow.
There's Richardson, Chow right behind him in the white, blue, and red car. Got the police on the nose of that thing, but I'm sure Richardson feels very intense right now with that, with the police in the rearview mirror. You want to see him outside the track, not necessarily inside the track at New Jersey, but this guy's still locked in a bit of a fight here. And the slipstream on these Mustangs is fairly large, especially with this long front straightaway. There are your 2 leaders, Max King and Lapras, still nose to tail.
And because of the straightaway, that's your best passing opportunity. In fact, we saw the pass for the lead here a few laps ago. But Lapras is not going to make an attempt this time by. I think he might just be biding time in behind. They see a lunge.
It's Rositano on sides, consider that complete. And Richardson and Chow, they're still running together. A little bit clumsy there for Richardson. Around he's going to go at the exit of turn 2, and Chow picks up some right front damage as well. It's so easy as you come over the crest of this hill to let the car step out from underneath you.
Yeah, I think, again, the problem is for a lot of these guys, you know, there's a lot of weight shifting to the left rear of the car. They're coming over.
Well, he nailed this inside curb. Already gets the car up on 2 wheels, so he just didn't have the grip on the ground. And the car gets light as you come over the crest, and that's what did in the 15 of Daniel Richardson. One of the more talented drivers in this field, but with a setback now. That's to get back by Marshall Mass. That was a bit of a touch there into the left-hander.
Got to look to the outside, but Mass closed the door on him. Now he's going to be side-by-side with the 31 here. Eventually, now you're going to switch back over, dive up the inside. Nope, the 31's going to still hold that 9th place spot.
These two, I think they're playing too nice right now. Do you think they're working together maybe and try to keep DJ behind? Because DJ's pretty quick still.
I think that might be it. I think they figure, you know, it's essentially amongst themselves that they can just, you know, maybe wait another 10 minutes till they start battling each other. It's effectively going to be just them two battling it out for the win.
Well, maybe. We know DJ is coming, and this time through, what was his lap time? A 1:24.
He's not at the pace.
8.79. That wasn't as fast as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so he's been running at the pace of leaders, which is fine because he's effectively managed the gap, but not closing in, and that's what he needs to start doing. And the best way for him to close in would be for these two guys to battle, which they haven't been.
Right on board, this is Christopher Lapras. You see the leader, King, using every little bit of racetrack. Now over the crest, onto the brakes, right hand over the curb. Crack it out, and this is a good passing opportunity here there too. As the driver moves back over to the right side of the track to arc it into the next corner, you can kind of slide up the inside there. It's a little risky if the guy in front isn't really paying attention, but you'd think that this group has got that sort kind of figured out. So here's fourth, Resitano and Sainz. Tony Roma's gone around. Ooh, I can't even tell where this is. This is on the exit of turn 2, I believe. Again, we're not using the version with the chicanes. This is the straight up Thunderbolt, and he was right behind Dave Fitzgerald, and he was already out of control at the exit of 1.
He might have panicked trying to avoid Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald went for a really wild ride through the grass.
We were just saying how good of a job the lawn care people here did with these perfectly straight
Dave
lines.
Is just tearing it all up.
And 9th place, Marshall Massa, Daniel Richardson. This has not diffused yet with the 15 car. Going to try to cross under here, over under into the right-hander, now back to the left. 15 minutes remaining in this race.
Trying to just find a way back around the 31. Matt's been doing a really solid job on defense to keep him still in behind. I would have thought Richardson would have got on by now.
And Matt's actually having a pretty solid race, up to 9th from a starting spot of 15th. Richardson's fallen 2 with his spin a couple laps ago. Offset to the right into turn number 1. A little loose there. You're just controlling this oversteer. This is a big, heavy, clumsy car. About 325 horsepower. So it's not the fastest car in the world, but it's got a lot of torque. And it's heavy. It doesn't like to rotate very much, so you kind of have to use the throttle to get it to turn. Too much throttle, you'll go around like we saw with Richardson a few laps ago.
Yeah, we've seen a few incidents in turn 2, I think, really just mostly due to just the dynamics of the car.
Right behind him, there's Jake King on a charge back forward. He's running some of the fastest laps in the race right now, a 1:25.8 last time. But the quickest lap of the race, I think, was Max King's 1:24.1. As the two in front of him are side by side, Richardson is going to complete that pass on Marshall Mass for 9th.
And trying to potentially set his sights. He's got a little bit of distance up to 8th place, but a battle now brewing on between Mass, and now here comes Jake King into the picture. Yeah,
Jake King's got a hole open to the inside right. He won't take it here. Mass is going to drive in pretty hard into the left-hander, and now look at Jake King tracking out more, going to try to straighten out this exit, get a run down the front straight, and use that slipstream to his advantage as they head under the Subaru bridge here at the end of the lap. And cut every little bit. You can get yourself a slowdown penalty on that curve.
Yeah, that curve is very inviting, but you have to definitely know where the limit is, because you will get a pretty severe penalty, and that'll hurt your run down this entire straightaway.
Oh, Richardson was in deep into turn 1. Gave up a little bit of time. Meanwhile, for the lead, these two still 2/10 apart, but Alessandrini ran a 1:25.0 last time, the quickest of the 3 leaders. So I think he's coming 1.7 seconds back right now.
Yeah, he's definitely heading in the right direction. And again, I think he really needs these guys to potentially start making moves, lunging at each other to help reel that in. Ooh, there was actually, speaking of which, was a bit of a lunge by Lapras.
And it's difficult to make passes with a lunge here. This car has ABS, and you'll lean on basically every little bit of the brake pedal into the braking zones, so it doesn't leave you a lot to dive bomb up underneath somebody. If you're braking in this car, you're probably braking to the maximum capability of the tires and the brakes, so Lapras has to be careful not to get yourself in too deep. It's so easy to rear end somebody or drive into somebody's door.
He's looking really aggressive in behind the 20, more so than he has been the last few laps, so curious if that patience might have run out for Lapras, and he's trying to get on by.
This time through a 1:25.1 for the 2 leaders, another 1:25.0 for Alessandrini. As Lapras takes a dive up the inside through turn number 1, side by side. Next turn's a right-hander, and Lapras goes back to the lead as they head up the hill.
Fairly clean pass for Lapras, too. Got on by easily now. I'm curious if he's going to be able to maintain, because we've seen these guys switch back one time each. We saw King go up to the lead, and now Lapras back to the lead, so Curious to see what King's got, if he's maybe going to make a move through the next few corners. Looks like he might back off for now.
Well, you have to worry. Look at in the mirror. You see there's DJ Alessandrini approaching. As they ran side by side, they were slower. That brought DJ within 1 second. Now he's in draft range here. This is a dangerous car to have in your mirror.
It looked like King was trying to do a switchback on the outside, potentially to get by Lapras. King's definitely not done yet. He really wants to get back up to the front, but again, that blue, red and yellow car in behind of Alessandrini, he's trying to get closer and closer. There he is.
The brakes glowing red hot on these cars as they enter the corner here. You see the rotor on Max King's machine. These things run really hot in the brakes just because they're so heavy, and their brakes are not the highest of performance when you're talking about race cars. This car is about from 2008 or 9, that era, so the braking systems on these cars, and this wasn't meant to be a GT3 car. It's a fairly low-level race car.
Brembo brakes, they're not. I think is the best
they might
way to
actually
say.
be Brembos, but they're not carbon ceramic or anything like that. Cross the line, 10 minutes left in this race, and Alessandrini was, wow, he was a full second faster than both drivers in front.
And I'm sure if you were to look at a sector time, I think most of that was given up in this first sector here when they were running side by side. He gives so much time doing that, especially with the car on the inside, but Lapras is going to still hold on to the lead. Now it's a matter of trying to drive away if he can.
Whoa, a little
really
wide. Goes King, dropping the left side tires off in the dirt.
And he's really pushing the envelope here through this next corner.
Downshifting nicely. Again, these cars do require heel-toe downshifting. No fancy transmissions in this thing. 6-speed manual transmission. Most of this track is done in 3rd and 4th gear.
Ooh, a little bit wide for Lapras. Had to give up. He saw him down.
Here he comes.
Brakes,
whoa, he thought about it. He thought about it, almost went for it, backed out.
I think just kind of showing that he's definitely going to try to move
there.
if he can. And Lapras going to slam the door shut. Not after a little bit of contact go between them.
Oh, there was a touch there. King wants back by. Will he go to driver's left? Nope. It looks like Lapras will stay tight.
He goes wide.
He missed the apex, though. He drifted out a little wide. He's going to tuck it in tight on corner exit. 9.5 minutes to go as we come to the start-finish line.
Yeah, be really careful. I mean, every time he's opened up the door, King has been there and trying to take an opportunity out of it. Those are going to be right up in behind. He might have a solid run down here into turn 1.
He'll have a look into turn 1. Will Lapras go defensive, though? It'll destroy his exit speed. If he does, he's going to stay on driver's left. King's going to pop out to the right. Here he comes up the inside. Oh, they touch again into turn 1. Lapras runs wide to try to avoid contact. King's on through, but he's off course. And they're doing this and bringing DJ right back into the fight, side by side.
Oh.
They touch again. They crash. King sideways in front of Lapras. He spins back across the track. Alessandrini's through to the lead.
That made DJ's life a lot easier.
Well, that's how you do it, and DJ's off now.
That's not going to really cost him a whole lot of time. He'll still hold on to the lead by quite a bit as Lapras and King make contact.
Wow, that was big.
And the leaders essentially take themselves out of contention.
Here's a look up in turn number 1 here. King ran wide. Lapras sees the opportunity, dives back up the inside lane, gets off the curb, gets into the... That's just racing really hard here with a driver. They needed to work together better than that, Finian.
Yeah, again, they were doing such a good job earlier in the race, too. I really thought, if they kept what they were doing, they might have had a shot at just keeping it between them, or at least until, DJ would have caught them maybe on the last lap or two. But now, effectively taking them, both of themselves out of the lead.
Watch it from onboard DJ's car. They're going to spin. Watch his car come back left, right behind Alessandrini. Almost got collected in that. The third place car now is Kurt Resitano. He would have been in the catbird seat had those two, Alessandrini and Jake King, or... Max King, I'm getting the Kings confused, had they gotten together. So, 8 minutes to go now. Alessandrini trying to break the draft, and he's all the way on driver's right. Lapras now needs to get back to work to catch this 8 car.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not completely done yet. Again, if Lapras can try to get back on target here and try to get back up to DJ, he has got some solid pace in that 04 machine.
I don't think he's got better pace. He just needs to put his head down and go for it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got that much damage, just a little bit of a crinkle on the left side door, so that should be fine in that regard. He has to go to work, and DJ is not the easiest guy to get past, especially when he's got clear racetrack. Meanwhile, for 9th place, here's Jake King, working back by the inside of Richardson, who will run wide in turn 1.
Scared Richardson out of the move.
There's Marshall Mass with a run. Couldn't quite get the power down to take that spot, though.
And you can hear he was sliding, and they had to get off throttle to try to get the car to correct back. Now they crest the hill. Up at the front, it's Alessandrini by 1.1 seconds. Lapras is off the track, and that cost him a ton of time. That's going to cost him dearly.
He just runs, gets in here a little bit hot. You see him track out. Oh, yeah, that's a big time loss there. Now DJ can slow it down, and he can really run his own race and pace himself. And when he's allowed to do that, you've essentially given him the trophy at this point. That's how good he is.
Oh, no, DJ is not going to slow down. He's probably going to go for a fast lap.
Well, he'll think he's going slow, but
he doesn't have the fastest lap. So
no, I think that still belongs to Max King. At 24.1 is the best we've seen so far. In the background, there's Resitano and Sainz. These guys for third, and there's Max King on a trek back forward. And I do expect that King will at least podium in this race. Just got to get by these two drivers to get that done.
Well, these guys are looking at about 4 laps to go.
Oh, slide for Max King through turn 2. Next time by will be 4 laps to go.
So 5 laps to go for these guys currently. So it has a decent amount of time to work with, but again, can't afford to make a mistake like that. Whoa.
I think he's got it in his head now, and he's making mistake after mistake. It's going to be costing him dearly. Zachary Sainz in the 1 car started in 4th. That's exactly where he is as Resitano runs a little wide.
Very wide, completely misses the corner. That's going to cost him 1, maybe 2 spots. Here comes King working on him side by side in the next corner.
Yeah, next is the right-hander, though, so Resitano should have the run here. He's going to track out, run Max King off into the grass.
Very aggressive move by Resitano, but he'll hold on to 4th.
Let him work that wheel. Oh, car off. That's Sainz, the inside. That might be a cut for him. See the background, the 31 and 15. They're running nose to tail right now. We'll jump back to the battle for 4th place as it's the closest right now. Resitano and Max King onto the front straight.
King's got a great run here, heading through the S's. Nowhere to really go. But we'll definitely have a chance to make a pass up into turn 1 here.
Down the front straightaway here, less than 5 minutes remaining. Lapras that time through, lost time again to Alessandrini for 4th. Here comes Max King on a trek back forward to the inside of Resitano.
Oh, he's going to miss the corner in the 37. Ooh.
It's so easy to outbrake yourself in this car. I almost think, I mean, a lot of drivers love ABS, and I think in a real-world scenario, you'd want ABS too. It's difficult in the sim. The ABS doesn't quite translate, and you end up kind of feeling like you just have a mushy brake pedal, and you think you can go that extra little bit, and when your car would typically lock the brakes, and you'd go, uh-oh, I'm over the limit. Yeah. Here, you just drive off into the grass, and that's what happened there to Resitano. Well, Alessandrini's time has been very easy up front. Now, he's not running lap times that are the best in the field. Right now, that belongs to Jake King back in 9th place. He ran out 25.9. The Alessandrini's 26.1. But DJ's got track position and a whole lot of it. About 4 seconds worth.
Yeah, he's continually pulling away from Lapras, looking back at King for a little bit. Now also looking back at Richardson and Mass. They're going to continue their battle for 10th.
It's difficult to balance this car. Likes to rotate quite a bit once you're on throttle, but it is an understeering. It has the aerodynamics of a refrigerator. It's just not a good car aerodynamic.
It's not a graceful machine.
No, but it's a brutish rear-wheel drive V8 monster, and it does one thing well, that's go straight. Mass is really wanting to get back to the straightaway so he can let this thing breathe a little bit. You have to kind of beat it into submission through some of these corners and use that throttle to get the car to rotate around on corner exits. So that battle not quite over yet. For Alessandrini, he's still using every inch of the racetrack. 3 minutes to go. Next time by will be 2 laps left here at New Jersey Motorsports Park.
Healthy bit of curving.
And after this race, we're not going to dilly-dally a whole lot. We have another race that starts in about 7 minutes. So as soon as this race is over, we'll show you the race results. We'll jump to break for a very short time. We'll be back with you for the second race of the evening, the Kias and MX-5s. Run by the DC Region SCCA iRacing League. So don't go anywhere. It'll be a very short break before we're back in here for race 2 of the night. Max King now breathing down the neck of Zach Sainz.
Trying to work back up to him. You can see kind of following through this section. Resitano effectively falling up quite a bit, actually. He's actually... Oh, no, I thought he was much further back. He's 3.5 seconds in behind these guys.
Well, I think Richardson's back by Marshall Mast again, so these two have gone back and forth several times in this race, but Richardson again with the slip up at the exit of turn 2. How about for 3rd place? King around the outside of Sainz. He'll get the job done as they come back towards the front straight.
Great job. He's going to have the run to boot as well. I think Sainz made a mistake just before the S's. That long right-hander might have caught a bit of grass.
There's Alessandrini, then 2nd place, Christopher Lapras, trying to get everything he can out of the car, but he was still slower than DJ last time through. Back to Max King and Zach Sainz. These guys still for 3rd. Next time by will be white flag for the race leaders.
Oh, he's pushing pretty hard, trying to keep ahead of the one of Signs, who's still breathing down his neck.
That's such a fun corner to when you crest that hill and you slide out and there's a little bit of curbing to catch you. That's such a great feeling in this car. I'm sure these guys wanted to grip more, but it's a lot of fun in retrospect. Once you get out, you're smiling. That is a phenomenal piece of race course engineering there.
That battle still not done. Neither is this one. Still looking at Richardson and Mass. Mass is not giving up the fight just yet. Still trailing down the 15. Again for 10th. You see Richardson take a huge chunk of grass.
Well, they got to repave or repave. They got to replant all the grass here after this one.
The gardener is probably really mad, especially out of turn 2. The guys have been abusing the grass there.
A minute left in this race, and for DJ Alessandrini, what started off as a kind of a poor night for DJ. Typically, he leads races from start to finish. This one he had to work for a little bit. And then it was given to him at the exit of turn 2, but white flag in the air for DJ Alessandrini. For Lex Kuracek, he's off down here. This is at the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, it's been a relatively poor night for the 6-7 of Kuracek.
Now, we didn't really see what happened to him early in the night, but just outbreaks himself into turn 1, runs a little wide, gets the left rear on the curb, and lazy slide. Yep. Now he's got Tony Roma right in front of him in the number 2. This is a battle for position for 14th as the white flag is officially out here with 18 seconds left.
You guys side by side here. It looks like Kuracek's going to back out. Roma's going to keep ahead of him. This is for position.
DJ's out front by 3.2. And this is going to be a force to be reckoned with here in the Miata race coming up. Now, this is a big deal. The reason why is because he's running this race. He can't qualify for the DC region race, so he's going to be starting at the tail of the field for that, and that is going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to get to see DJ drive through the MX-5 field instead of starting at the front of it, and there's some really good drivers in there that we need to take note of, and we'll bring you there in just a couple minutes. But as Alessandrini runs through the final couple corners, it helped a little bit that the leaders tangled, but DJ Alessandrini will round the final corner, and the checkered flag will wave in the American Sedan Racing League, brought to you by Phoenix Performance. And jumping the curve one last time, DJ Alessandrini wins at New Jersey Motorsports Park.
Comes across the line. Christopher Lapras is also going to follow in tow. He's got to settle for second place. Max King going to recover. Back into third. Solid run for him. Zachary Sainz going to finish off in fourth. And rounding out your top 5 is going to be Kurt Rezatano in the 37.
Last battle we're going to show you before we show you the results. Daniel Richardson and Marshall Mast, they fought tooth and nail for the entire race. 10th for Richardson, 11th for Mast as they come across the line.
Final corner, as long as they don't make a mistake here. Easy said and done.
All right, here's a look at your race results. Alessandrini out of Ohio, then the New Jersey boys, Lapras and Max King, second and third. Sainz, Rezatano, Aquilante, Chow, Wilson, the other King, that's Jake, Daniel Richardson, the rest of your top 10. Dave Fitzgerald brings home a 12th, Lex Kuracek back in 15th after late race problems. The 19 cars that started this race, we had 17 finish it. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes for the start of the DC region race. It'll be Kias and MX-5. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV in the DC region SCCA iRacing League. We're here now for our second event of the night. It'll be Kias and MX-5s, the global MX-5 variant, lining up to begin a 35-minute short endurance event tonight. We are going to talk to Jarrett Novak from New Jersey Motorsports Park, but as soon as the race kind of gets underway, we're going to talk to him in between the last race and this one, but the timing ran a little bit longer than I was expecting, so we'll talk to him as soon as this race begins and kind of gets settled down. So, a couple housekeeping things before we really begin here. Qualifying already underway. The MX-5s have already done their qualifying, and Sam Scott was the pole sitter for that. Ryan Maloney in second, then Robert Porter, Khalil Natterboff, then Forrest Landy back in fifth. Meanwhile, at the front of the field in Kias, we've got Caleb Patry in the 98 car. He's right now in the lead. Ken House-Seal in second place in his number 27, and Valvoline Esports driver Tom O'Gorman is here tonight. And Tom, again, a competitor in the 2019 the Michelin Pilot Challenge. Finished fourth in the standings, won at Daytona and Sebring, also won at VIR and Road Atlanta in the 2018 Continental Tire Challenge. So good to have Tom here tonight.
Choice of colors on his car. Yellow,
Yeah,
green, and red.
He's been doing a lot of paint schemes lately. He's discovered the powers of Photoshop, and he's been playing a lot.
I remember hearing him saying that he was working on his car for tonight.
There's Andrew Kessel in the number 3 car out of California. Francois Brou, another return driver from the DC region SCCA, and Ryan McCrea in the 25 car is also here. Kenton Cook, another competitor from IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge last year, ran a GT4 category race car for the E-Euro Parts team. That team ended up folding, and he now drives a Aston Martin GT4 in SRO America's GT World Challenge America. So, got a lot of really high-profile racing drivers in here tonight. Don Manning in the number 92 is going to round out the rest of the field. A few more drivers joining the Kia ranks will be Mark Hammond, Evan Schickel, and Mark Labance. So we'll have a total of 13 Kias. We have about 25 MX-5. So it's a pretty sizable field out here as we continue to work through Kia qualifying.
Absolutely. Just now about to wrap up here. They got a little under 2 minutes to put a final time down.
So Greg Obadia is also here. Now, the differences between the Kia and the MX-5, there's quite a few of them. This Kia is basically what was at the time the Pirelli World Challenge touring car. And it's a front-wheel drive car with about 375 horsepower, so it is fast in a straight line. Doesn't corner the best. I think the Miata will probably out-corner it here in the slow stuff, but the MX-5, we've talked about it quite a bit. I'm not sure that John Weschler was aware that this is Kia qualifying only.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten the memo, if anything, considering he's the
Either that or
only
they
one.
gave him permission to go out on track.
I imagine it's that, but it is pretty funny. He's the only MX-5 out there.
But the MX-5 category car is a 180 horsepower rear-wheel drive international standard, essentially, that everybody runs their global MX-5 challenge counterparts. So I think this is an interesting step into front-wheel drive racing because Kenton Cook and Tom O'Gorman both have experience in the real-world driving TCR class cars. Kenton Cook drove the Audi RS3 TCR, as did Tom O'Gorman. Tom also ran the Honda Civic Type R TCR. This is a totally different thing. It's got more power, not quite as much aero. It's a lot heavier. This is a totally different platform, but the same rules still kind of apply. The same way you drive it applies here.
I was going to say, it's one of only 2 front-wheel drive racing cars on the...
3. Jetta.
Oh,
always forget about that car.
I was going to say everyone forgets about the Jetta, honestly. But yeah, okay, so it's one of 3 front-wheel driving cars on the service, being this, the Kia Optima, the Jetta, and the Volkswagen Jetta, and the Audi TCR that we're just talking about also have that on the service. So yeah, so very few cars to really experience that type of driving dynamic. Most of the other cars are either all-wheel drive or mostly rear-wheel drive.
Right, and I think that's going to play into the hands of drivers like Tom O'Gorman and Kenton Cook. They might not have nearly as much practice as some of the other drivers in this grid, but what they are going to have is real-world experience, and that will transfer quite handily back to the iRacing service tonight. So Tom O'Gorman sits 3rd right now as he comes across the line. No improvement that time through. Caleb Patry still at the top of the board in his number 98 car. Very patriotic looking.
And also I want to bring attention to, if we look back at Obadia, look at his car. I don't think the Marlboro logos on that car are big enough.
It's so big you almost can't read it.
Honestly, it's like, you know, we were laughing about Kyle Busch's Snickers
card.
Yeah, they like, I have a big logo there. This takes it to the nth degree.
Tide Ride looks good out here tonight. No Darrell Waltrip in it, though. It's Andrew Kessel in the number 3 car. He's 4th right now, the time of a 1:20.848. So very curious to see some of the other drivers in the Optima. Mark Hammond, Evan Schickel, Mark LeMans, currently not on the racetrack. I'm not sure if they will be starting this race.
They will, but they're opting not to put a qualifying time down. We'll see here if they do join the grid as qualifying was wrapping up. Drivers able to put their complete the times that they're currently running. For Kessel, he'll come across the line. He'll actually improve time-wise, but not position-wise.
Oh, it's frustrating. You run a couple tenths quicker and then you can't improve any spots with it. He'll line up 4th for the start of this race. Like I said, as soon as this race kind of gets into a groove here, hopefully it's not too crazy, so we can get a chance to talk to Jarrett Novak, the Director of Drivers Club Membership at New Jersey Motorsports Park. So we want to appreciate Jarrett for jumping in here and kind of being fluid with us here as we try to sort through. Typically, we do 2 races here in the DC Region SCCA, but they're spaced out a little bit, you know, I think more predictably as we've done it. So this is kind of an interesting lineup here tonight. But we want to thank the American Sedan Group for joining us tonight. So we come on through, and looks like qualifying is complete, and Patry in the number 98 will be on pole for this event. So in just a moment, we're going to turn them loose for 35 minutes. This is about a 27-lap race based on the pace of these cars. And we'll go through the grid here in just a moment. One of the drivers we got to talk to is Colin Daner in the number 23, and I was told that everyone watching this will know what's going on. I'm very confused.
Mr. Bean?
I think it is Mr. Bean. You know,
oh boy.
I don't know what I was getting myself into.
I don't either.
I'm trying to think. There's Zach Rivard in the Hoosier SCCA Esports Super Tour also. He has like a Lego Man helmet, which is really cool, but this is something different entirely. But there's Colin Daner, and he'll be lining up in the field. We'll roll through the starting lineup here in just a minute as we get down to the grid here to start this race and take a look at the race weather for this event. A little bit cooler than the first race tonight. 73 degrees ambient, 86 on the track surface, and wind about 2 miles an hour out of the north wind won't be much of a factor here today. All right, let's roll through our starting lineup here, Finney. And on the front row tonight, it's going to be Caleb Patry in the 98. He'll roll off first alongside Ken Alseal in second.
Moving him back to row number 2, it's going to be Tom O'Gorman in third. Next to him in fourth, it's going to be Andrew Kessel in the 3.
Back in 5th place, Greg Obadiah's number 66, and Francois Brou starts 6th.
Back in 7th, Brian McCree is going to be starting next to 8th place.
Nice, good job. Kenton Cook rolls off 9th in the 36, Don Manning in the 92, back in 10th.
And I think we're starting also here, our MX-5 starter Sam Scott in first, next to him Ryan Maloney in second.
Robert Porter starts 3rd in the 136 alongside Khalil Natterboff in the 19.
Moving back to 5th, it's going to be Forrest Landy in the 4 car, next to him Murphy Nicholas in 6th.
Back in 7th place, Ido Waxman in the number 26. Peter Enzer in the 49 starts 8th.
Back in 9th, it's going to be David Sturr. Next to him, Sean Cromwell is going to be in the 24 and 10th.
Back in 11th, Marcus Pine in the 14, and John Weschler's 38. He rolls off 12th.
Back in 13th, it's going to be Chad Griffith in the 112. Next to him, Thomas Lee in the 7 car in 14th.
Chris Hebert in the 617 starts in 15th. Jonathan Murchison in the 21 car starts in 16th.
17th is going to be Frank Taberzi, and next to
Colin Daner. You got to keep up with me. Go. Calvin Wong in the 100. Charlie Abel starts 20th.
21st is going to be Ty Diep, and next to DJ Alessandrini in the 61 and 22nd.
Got to be one step ahead. Max King in the 23rd place car starts in the 41, and Jay King rolls off 24th.
25th is going to be Zachary Sainz in the 42. Next to him, Evan Schickel in 11th. 11th? Oh, and
yeah, there are a couple of these cars. Again, this is done by overall order. So some of the Kia Optimas will start down the order a little bit. There's Robert Hines will roll off 28th in MX-5, and Mark Hammond, I don't think he's here. Neither is Evan Schickel or Mark LeMans there. So that is your grid. Woo, you done? Got a glass of water? It's a short pace lap here. I had to speed it up a little bit to make it. But we did it. We got through it. All right. So field rolling through the far side of the course now, and again, Colin Daner in the 23, a competitor in the Hoosier SCCA Sports Super Tour, got Mr. Bean there on the helmet as he comes to a stop, getting a bit of a gap formed between these two grids as we head through the long right-hander into the final sector here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Again, at the Thunderbolt configuration, 12 turns, just over 2 miles, 35 minutes of racing action.
Is all ready and lined up, ready to go. They'll be the ones taking the green flag first, and then about 20-30 seconds later, we'll see the MX-5 field roll on through to start their race.
Mahone design on the side of that Patry machine, the 98, the red, white, and blue. And alongside him, Ken Hauseil's number 27, and then right behind, Tom O'Gorman. Lots of experience in front-wheel drive race cars. And we come through the final corner. 35 minutes for the DC Region SCCA iRacing League from New Jersey Motorsports Park, the Thunderbolt configuration. In the 40s, it was P47s. Today, it's Optimas and MX-5s. Thunder in the air at Thunderbolt configuration. Green flag flies and racing in New Jersey. 3 wide already as Tomo moves to the right into turn 1.
Oh, and Tom's going to take a huge amount of curb. It's going to cost him some time, though, as Hauseil's going to barely get on by him for a second. They try to get clear of each other, and finally Hauseil's able to get clear. O'Gorman now going to have to settle back into 3rd place.
Single filed out as they head through turn number 3. Meanwhile, the massive MX-5 grid up to speed down into turn 1. Looked like they're going to try 4 wide. That wasn't going to work, so they singled back out. The double wide there, there's a 49 of Peter Enzer. He had to lift big time to let Waxman on through. So far, so good. Everybody's through and clean. Kenton Cook off track slightly in his 36. He'll pull it back on the pavement as he battles McCrea in the 25.
Yeah, struggling a little bit. He'll get back going in the right direction. Still Patry up in the lead, then Hauseil, O'Gorman, your top 3.
Trouble!
And a big crash in MX-5 here. This is out of turn 3.
And one of those drivers, John Weschler's 38. Charlie Abel's in there. DJ Alessandrini started the tail of the grid. Here he comes up through the field. This is going to be a fun driver to watch. 22nd to 16th already. He was the winner in the American Sedan race. And look at this in front of him. 3 wide for a moment. They back out, try it again, double wide into the next corner.
Yeah, it's a big mess in front of him. He's just trying to navigate his way on through. Currently up into 15th in class. Still marching on forward.
And to the inside, that's Jake King, and King's right behind the 29 of David Stern. They'll single back out. Stern's going to look up the inside of the driver in front. That is Colin Daner of the Falcon car. A little bit of contact there as they head through. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Sam Scott has the lead, but here comes Ryan Maloney.
Whoa.
Big slide in the 22 as he comes up the inside.
You're trying to hook the curb, almost hook the car around as they're side by side up in the front. Gonna be Hauseil that goes up to the lead ahead of Patry, and here comes O'Gorman now trying to make it side by side. He goes around. Ooh, I think Patry got a slowdown.
Yeah, Patry, big slowdown for him. Here comes
man.
Obady up the inside. Contact there with Francois Bru's 69 car. That was pretty square contact. They should be okay, but a frantic start here as everybody...
he's still having to give up time.
Whatever he cut, that was a big no-no for the race control, I think.
It's almost like he cut a lap that he's having to give up so much time.
And through goes Kenton Cook into 7th place in that olive green number 36 car. Back in GMX5, Ryan Maloney's got the lead. Deeper in the field, still battles all over the racetrack. Sean Cromwell deeper still. How about Jake King, Alessandrini, and more all locked into battle?
Yeah, they're kind of slowly moving their way up the order here, up into 13th and 14th respectively. Here he comes on the outside of Daner. Into the inside of him.
Daner will drop a spot. Jake King goes through to 11th in class. Daner crosses over. Car around in the background. That's the 36 car. 39 car. No, it is the 36. Trying to see. Robert Porter, the 136, excuse me. Robert Porter's machine.
He loses a ton of time as he finally gets the car back straight. Doesn't look like he has a lot of damage.
Francois Bru must have a lot of damage because he's going to come into pit lane. That left front tire smashed in pretty good there on that car. Up in the front, Hauseil and O'Gorman lead right now in the Kia Optima category. Ryan Maloney and Sam Scott lead at the front of GMX5. Been a wild start to this one, and Kenton Cook now has Patry back on the rear bumper. I'm not sure Patry's done yet.
No, he's definitely not. I'm sure he's going to be on a drive with vengeance here as he tries to work back up the order, trying to get past Kenton Cook now. And there you see up ahead of him, Brian McCrea currently in 5th.
These guys locked in a duel as Maloney and Scott, they were separated by a 10th, but Scott didn't get a very good run up through turn number 1. Drops about a half a second off the leader. Ido Waxman now has Sean Cromwell right behind him. Waxman in the yellow car and Cromwell in the white one. Whereas Alessandrini already up to 12th in class after starting in 22nd. There he is in the Grid Life sponsored car.
Currently sitting in about 5 seconds, actually a little bit more than that. Sitting in about 9 seconds in behind the MX5 leader.
Well,
so.
We know how good he is. I wouldn't count him out at all. We'll keep an eye on him as he drives through the field. Kenton Cook and Caleb Patry come through the last corner. 6th and 7th for these drivers. Up in the front, Tom O'Gorman. And look at Kessel slipping and sliding this front-wheel drive Kia Optima through turn 1. a lot of slip angle here as they come over the crest of the hill. For the lead, all 3 leaders under a blanket.
Yeah, remember in,
whoa, Tomo sliding the front drive car of the Kia Optima. Here comes Kessel up the inside.
Cut to his grass and entry, and here they come side by side. Kessel on the inside, gonna have an advantage here. Now gonna go back to O'Gorman. Yep. He's gonna be on the inside.
Oh, they touch.
They door each other going down into the corner. Now here comes Obadia in behind, trying to take advantage, can't. They sort themselves back out.
You're definitely benefited by the front-wheel drive layout. When you get turned sideways like that, you just match your foot to the floor and go. But it's still scary here. If you run off into the grass, you don't have any grip at all. So Tomo did a good job hanging on to the spot. Kessel still third, Obadia fourth, McCrea in fifth. MX-5 leader, look at Maloney slipping and sliding up through the top of the hill.
Long drift through turn 2.
These cars really like to hang sideways. There is Forrest Landy in the number 4.
Oh, crashing behind them. Big crash out of turn 2.
Chad Griffith is one of them. Jake King is another. And I think Colin Daner, no, I think Daner might have gotten through. Yes, he did. There he goes through. But a bunch of drivers off. Let's quickly go back and see how this one formulated.
Oh, I think something happened to DJ.
Might have been involved in it here. Oh, he was. Go back and see. They were 3 wide as they headed up the hill. Right in front of him, the 112 car and the 7. He gets packed in from behind by the 41 of Max King and comes to a stop car damaged beyond repair, and that'll be the end of DJ's night. That's a real shame. So, Ticker's going to swap between overall position and top 10 in each category as Obadia goes through for third in the Kia Optima. And we're going to step away from voice for just a minute. We'll be right back with Jarrett Novak from New Jersey Motorsports Park. Stay with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV in the DC region SCCA iRacing League. Right now on the phone we have Jarrett Novak from New Jersey Motorsports Park. You're the Director of Drivers Club Membership. Jarrett, welcome to Sim TV. Been a wild night so far. This racetrack is spectacular. Tell me a little bit about this place.
Thank you for having me, Kyle. Well, Thunderbolt's a fantastic racetrack out here in New Jersey. As you mentioned, we do have 2 racetracks, so Thunderbolt's 12 turns, 2.3 miles, and then we have Lightning, which is 10 turns, 1.9 miles. It's just a fantastic racing course. You know, I've been all up and down the East Coast. I'm originally a PCA guy, so I've been all over the country to all the racetracks. You know, this place opened up in 2008. I'm originally from New Jersey, so I've been here a lot since they opened.
So obviously this racetrack is quite rich in history, not necessarily the racetrack itself, but the land it's built next to. Tell me a little bit about the history of New Jersey Motorsports Park and the ground at which it sits with the airfield so close by.
Yeah, so, you know, originally, I believe the airport technically opened around 1938 or 39 or something like that. And they trained pilots for P-47 Thunderbolt aircraft. I think they trained about 1,500 pilots, which were mostly stationed in the UK. So yeah, it's an exciting historical place. You know, if you go over the bridge or right before the bridge as you cross the Thunderbolt, there's actually an old airplane hangar for the P-47 Thunderbolt that's been there for almost 100 years.
So obviously this has been kind of a wild time for everybody here, Jarrett, but obviously at some point in 2020 we're looking forward to getting back to racing. Can you tell me anything about the plans that New Jersey Motorsports Park has in the next couple months here, or is it too early really to know?
Yeah, I think a wild ride would be putting it lightly at this point. I'm actually at the racetrack right now. So we've had to lay off a little bit of staff, so I'm actually working security at the front gate right now. But yeah, as you said, I believe it's a little too early to see what's going to go on with the season. We are trying to do a soft opening next weekend. It's hard to say whether that's actually going to happen or not. A couple racetracks are trying to open up without, solid permission from the government. We're not going to do that. We're waiting for someone from the state or local government to give us a green light to go ahead. So it's really we're just in a wait and see mode to see what the government tells us we can do.
And earlier we were talking, and you told me that you're an iRacer yourself. Obviously, this racetrack not quite complete in iRacing, and I know you've been trying to be in contact with them to get this kind of finished up here. But tell me a little about your experience with iRacing and the experience maybe with iRacing and New Jersey Motorsports Park as the production side of things.
Actually, I've only been at New Jersey Motorsports Park for a little bit under a year, so I wasn't involved when they laser scanned the facility. So I actually and I do iRacing myself, mostly in MX-5. I reached out to iRacing and I asked them, why wasn't the track finished? What can we do to get the track finished? And someone reached out to me and said they sent my email to the appropriate people, but never heard back after that. And I followed up again and haven't received any response yet. But I'm going to keep working on it because, I want the track to get finished and I want to get Lightning on there.
Absolutely, and actually, Lightning was a course that I just downloaded for Assetto Corsa the other day, and I really enjoyed that configuration as well. But both courses kind of have their own unique aspects, and I think this is one of the few facilities in the country, at least, where you can run events at both tracks simultaneously. Is that something that has ever actually happened?
Oh, 100%. For this whole season, we had both tracks booked out every single weekend from March through November. So we race on both tracks almost every weekend of the year. And you're right, they both have completely different personalities. Thunderbolt, got a little bit more technical corners, which probably leads to more exciting races and things like MX-5, whereas Lightning's a little bit higher speed. The banked bowl adds a little bit of danger there at the end of that course. So I think that, is more exciting for a higher horsepower car. So yeah, it's a great place to work, and and then we have a 1.1 mile karting track as well, which is one of the best in the Northeast. So yeah, it's a fantastic place to work.
I want to know a little bit about your opinions of what's been going on with iRacing and specifically sim racing in general through this kind of crazy time. What have you seen as a spectator in terms of the sim racing kind of, I don't want to say replacing real world racing, but kind of filling that hole as we wait for things to kind of return to normal?
Yeah, some of the sim racing I've been watching has not been great. Some has been awesome. Your first race and this race too has been really exciting. I think I'm going to tune in next. Do you guys do these weekly? I'm definitely going to watch the next one.
Yeah, well, I think if I take a look at the schedule, I have to remind myself what's coming up for the DC SCCA. But we got plenty of action, pretty much 7 days a week most of the time. But really? We have Road Atlanta in 2 weeks, I believe. So that'll always be a fun track for these cars to race on as well.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite courses.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, with no racing going on, I've been doing a lot of iRacing. I think the first month of quarantine, I was on my sim probably 5 hours a day or something like that. it sort of got ridiculous, but I'm ready to get back to the real world. I did a couple test laps of Thunderbolt in real life this week, and it only made me want to do it more.
I'm a little bit jealous. Well, if we ever make our way up there, we're located in Binghamton, New York. So if I ever find my way over there, I'm going to come meet you, and I want some laps on the track too myself. But it looks like a lot of fun. Yep. But I really appreciate you joining us. But I want to know a little bit more about the racetrack in terms of kind of the next steps. Obviously, we're stuck a little bit right now. But once things get back rolling, are there any big events that are coming up in New Jersey Motorsports Park's itinerary?
So, we had a great schedule plan this year. We had tons of racing going on with pretty much every club. We had Moto America coming back. We had monster trucks. We had all these beer fests and food truck festivals and all these big plans. And, everything is just completely up in the air. I'm honestly just hoping they start allowing us to operate like a golf course. I'm honestly considering digging 18 holes and sticking flags in them and telling people to come drive out and hit a few golf balls.
Well, Jared,
and I'm saying this because golf courses are open in New Jersey. Yeah.
At least we got that to look forward to. But I'm not much of a golfer. I'm a race car guy. But anything that gets me at a racetrack in general is usually good enough for me.
Exactly.
All right, we got to get back to the racing here, Jared. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to talk to you, if only for a couple minutes. So some very, very intense multi-class action going on. So we're going to get back to that. But thanks again, Jared, the Director of Drivers Club Membership at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
All right, have a wonderful night.
You too.
Sorry about that little extra noise there at the end. But that was really interesting to talk to. I know I'd love to talk to him for a little bit longer, but we got racing going on the racetrack right now. We got to get back to here, Finn, as we get closer and closer to the end of this race. 20 minutes left right now, and we'll let the overall order scroll back through. 3, 4, 5 right now. Ido Waxman, Sean Cromwell, and Khalil Natterboff. Zachary Sainz just hit pit lane in the 42.
I think he might have retired because he shot back up to the top of the order, so I think he might be calling it a day. Waxman currently sitting in third. Our MX-5 leaders, Maloney and Scott, still close together. Within a second of each other. Yeah,
a little less close than they were when we went away for a bit. But Ken Alseal and Tom O'Gorman, they've separated about 1.1 seconds. But here comes Obadia to the inside of Tomo. He's having a good run so far.
I wanted to say, while we were away, that Obadia made up quite a bit of time through the traffic, was able to make up time on O'Gorman and Alseal, catch back up to him. Hasn't been able to make a pass, though, for his second place, but we see him working on it now.
Back in MX-5, so that's where the majority of the battles are right now. There's Max King in the 41 car. He started 2030s up to 7th. Right behind him, Forrest Landy, in a very fitting paint scheme right now in that number 4 car. And Forrest Landy from the Virginias, not well, I would say fitting, but that's the Royal British Air Force decals on that thing. We need some P-47 Thunderbolt livery. Always have some internet problems for him. A little bit deeper in the field, how about Peter Enzer in the 49 car? Haven't really seen him up towards the front like where we'd expect him. Peter Enzer, again, competed in the Spec MX-5 Challenge Series the last couple of years. I believe also has run in the Global MX-5 Challenge as well, the Battery Tender Series. So good to see Peter here in the sim race tonight. But at the front of the field, the battle has sort of fizzled for time being, but Maloney is stuck behind a Kia right now, and he's losing some time to Sam Scott.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fizzled out because of the lap traffic working through them. I think Sam Scott caught one of the Kias in a bad place and kind of separated themselves back up, but now working back on Maloney to close that gap back down.
Andrew Chow hits pit lane from 14th place in the MX-5s. Meanwhile, Max King, Landy, and Jonathan Murchison, they are 7th, 8th, and 9th as they come on through the final corner, or actually this is the midway through the lap here as they jump the curbs here. And it was really interesting talking to Jarrett about this facility and how it hasn't been completed, because we were talking about this before the event. It really wouldn't take all of iRacing's effort. There's 2 tech tracks in iRacing. There's New Jersey Motorsports Park and Long Beach. Long Beach I understand, sort of. New Jersey Motorsports Park, it's trees and grass. I just need something other than the void of death outside of the Armco, but I'm going to put some pressure on him. I think it deserves to be finished up, and I think we'll hopefully eventually see it resolved.
I was really hoping when they announced this tech track system, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. We can get maybe, potentially get, some of the newer tracks in the work. We get to drive it while they still work out the scenery stuff, but it essentially has been a graveyard for tracks that haven't been completed yet, so hopefully that does change, especially with this track, because we'll love to see the updated scenery and also the addition of the Lightning Core.
Yeah, and that's I don't even know if they ever even scanned that.
Did it?
I would think that they would. I feel like it'd be silly not to.
Yeah, that's what I would think too as well. Might as well while you're there.
Well, they have a history of scanning tracks that they never really even intended to build. Mosport's Oval, for example, there was an oval at Mosport. It was eventually demolished, but that is actually scanned. iRacing has the data for it.
It's in their files
if they ever wanted to build it. But there's Rockingham, UK is another track that got scanned that never got.
Wait, really? It was scanned?
I believe so. I think I could have sworn. A couple other tracks that I know have been scanned that are not
complete either. How about Sean Cromwell in third?
Whoa.
There's Khalil Naderboff in the 19. Taking a look at him, going to cross him over and under that corner exit, but couldn't quite get it down to have a run at the third place car.
Yeah, shunt to the outside, was trying to get it turned back to the inside of Cromwell, but lost some time doing so. So these guys can continue their spout for third.
Deeper in the field, there is the 28 and 37. That's Charlie Abel in the white car. He's got Viper logos on the side of that thing. Oh boy, that's...
Beat up, though. He's been into a few people or into a few barriers. You see our race leader, Ken Alseal, work his way on through.
And Tom O'Gorman got a lot better run. He's going to try to split the difference up the middle, to be honest. He does so. That was awesome. We got to go back and watch that again.
He got some air, too, from the looks of it as well.
Look at this. Watch this. This is Tom O'Gorman going to go middle, 3 wide.
Didn't even let off the throttle.
A little bit of a touch there, but all good. And he's right in the back of Alseal. Look at that. Here he comes, the driver's left. Has some damage on that left front tire, though.
Imagine Alseal had a mistake because O'Gorman made up a huge amount of time. Now here he goes as they have another look to the inside, still going to look to the outside.
Here he comes
Alseal.
To the inside, maybe with a run in the 194. And Alseal's done a really good job so far, but I'm not sure that he's going to be able to hold off someone of Tom O'Gorman's caliber here. Again, lots of experience in front-wheel drive race cars. Started his career in a Honda Fit in what then was Pirelli World Challenge. Then he ran TCA, TCB, won the TCA Championship in 2018 in a Honda Civic. And he's obviously very experienced in these front-wheel drive cars. He takes a look at Alseal again down the front straight. Lots of traffic here. Alseal's going to dive to driver's right. That's the 617 of Chris Hebert. And can Tomo get through as well? He's going to try. Real tight there at the exit of 1. He's got it.
I think he figured if Alseal's going to open the gap, he can try to squeeze his way on through as well.
Meanwhile, in GMX5, this is the battle for the lead now. It's Ryan Maloney and Sam Scott first and second.
Scott has broken down that gap yet again, so nose to tail for these drivers. Still, they have been pretty much since the drop of the green flag.
There's Colin Daner, 18th and 9th, so plus 9 spots for him. A little bit wide here. He's got Murchison about 6 seconds up the road. That's the next driver that he can pass. He sits in 9th right now with John Weschler in behind him. Front of the field, though, O'Gorman still tracking down Ken Alseal.
Oh, really hard into the corner. And
Alseal comes from an autocrossing background, not a wheel-to-wheel racing background. So this is very interesting to watch these two. A seasoned IMSA veteran, well, veteran to me, pretty new to the IMSA series, but look at this.
Oh.
Some lap traffic going to bring these two tight, close together as they come through the last couple corners.
Got on the gas a little too early there. Almost got into the MX-5 that was on his outside. Finally got clear.
That is Francois Bru's 69 car, and Alseal's going to have to go the long way around on the brakes. That's going to give Tomo a huge run here onto the front straight. Alseal, big slide. He's going to go up the middle, 3 wide here. Here he comes. 3 wide with lap traffic, 12.5 minutes to go, and Tomo goes to the lead momentarily. Can he outbrake him into turn 1? He's going to run side by side. Maybe a touch, maybe not, but Alseal around the outside.
Yeah, it was going to make him work for it. Still not clear just yet. No, here comes O'Gorman with a decent run. Still side by side. This is not over yet. Now through turn 3.
He's got him.
And O'Gorman slams the door shut ahead of Alseal. Great pass.
12 minutes to go. Alseal going to try to set up Tomo for a pass into the left-hander. Take a look. Not really an opportunity there, though. So that has been settled, that score. Meanwhile, how about 4th place in MX5? That's Sean Cromwell in the 24. Max King in the red number 41 going the long way around. Now we'll have drivers left for the next corner. Here he comes for 4th, and he'll have it.
Yes, narrowly going to get by his 41 Max King, so he'll hold on to 4th.
And for the lead, look at Sam Scott all over the back of the 22 of Ryan Maloney.
I'd see this stay pretty calm. I've not seen them exchange positions for quite a while. So I think I might see Sam Scott just kind of wait until the last few laps and then attempt to make a pass.
They have a 17-second lead over Marcus Pine in 3rd because Khalil Naderboff has hit pit lane with some pretty severe damage. And that car is kind of awkwardly driving down the pit lane. I'm not sure if that's a penalty or for what other reason. Meanwhile, back to the Kia Optima. Obadia tracked in 2 seconds on the race leaders as they head down into 1. Tomo on driver's right. That's the 136 at Porter. Alseal's going to have a look. Tomo goes defensive up into turn 2. It's going to give him a poor line through here, but here comes Obadia with a run.
Yeah, and he got past the MX-5. Alseal did not. They gave him a poor line, and Obadia now trying to take advantage to turn 3. Not able to get to the inside though, but is definitely there, and they got a string of Miatas ahead of them.
Oh, big block for the 37, and he runs way off to the inside. Tomo to driver's left. Houseel and Obedia goes wide to try to miss him. They tangle, and around goes the car. That, I believe, is the 37 of Charlie Abel. Just could not find a way to get out of the way, unfortunately, as the two leaders battle side by side. This is getting hectic here with the traffic.
Oh, yeah, and still working through some heavy MX-5 traffic. Finally, they find some sort of clear room to get themselves strung out.
And really dicey here as Obedia lost a lot of ground with that, so he might be out of the question here with 10 minutes to go, but these front two have been racing fiercely. Meanwhile, Colin Daner and John Weschler are now a battle for 8th. These guys locked in a fight here through the final corner. Bobble for the 38 car, and Daner tries to pull away. There's the leaders in front of him in Kia.
Still very much news to Taylor. I'm curious if we might see Houseel maybe make a pass. Well, he took a huge amount of curb.
Walk down the front straight, goes defensive, runs all the way to the grass on the front straight. Back to driver's left goes Houseel. Behind him, battle for 3rd. Actually, that's not a battle. That is Obedia and Francois Brou. Tomo hangs on for now up at the front. He took him to the wall.
Yeah, he really did, and was able to still hold on to it, but looking at Houseel, he's not willing to wait in behind. He wants to try to get around O'Gorman as fast as he can.
Traffic has been wild up here at the front. Tomo to the right side of the racetrack, and whoa, up the inside comes Houseel diving. That's the 21 car. Jonathan Murchis in 7th place in GMX5. Meanwhile, back in 8th, Daner and Weschler still nose to tail.
Oh, and almost getting into each other into the entry of turn 5, but he's going to go way wide. Now here comes Weschler back up the inside. They're going to be side by side with a Kia for a moment.
And that, I believe, is broken touch.
No.
And Colin Daner's going to go around, and he's going to slam the Armco there. Just ran out of racing room. Ryan Maloney, Sam Scott working together, maybe co-opetition, but they've got 19 seconds on 3rd place. You got to think they'll start battling soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Scott's going to wait until the end of it. You know, I think he doesn't want to be around the 22 longer than he needs to. I think he feels like he'd be putting himself under attack that way. So I think that could be why we're just seeing him sitting 2nd for now.
Well, after that spin, Daner's back in 11th. Frank Taberzi in the 72 car's back in 12th. Then Calvin Wong right behind him, and so is Chris Hebert in the blue and orange 617 car. Back at the front of the field in Kia, there's Tom O'Gorman, Ken Houseel, nose to tail.
Stretched out the lead quite a bit,
Yeah,
almost
he
a
did.
second now.
He did, but Ken is bringing this lead back in the first sector of this lap, and now they got a lot of traffic in front of them, so this is going to get tight again.
It really doesn't matter where you catch the traffic. Ooh, and O'Gorman got held up quite a bit.
Oh, he's going to drive to the left and try to slide up underneath the 24 car. That being Sean Cuomo. Now they're in the top 5 of the MX-5 traffic, so it's going to be a lot harder to pass these cars. There's Jake King. Or excuse me, Max King in the 41.
Yeah, he's going to get past another one. Now he's got 2 left ahead of him, the 40 and the 14.
One of those is Jake King in the 40. The 14 car is the 3rd place car in GMX5. That's Marcus Pine. And Houseel gets through these cars pretty smoothly as well. Been a frantic race here. This has gotten pretty wild, multi-class action. I can't believe they used to run Grand Am on this track.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. I mean, again, you know, for single class, I think it's fine. For multi-class, this track is really tight in some sections, and we've seen has led to a few incidents.
I think the speed difference is also pretty large in these cars, which kind of amplifies how chaotic things seem. But with 7 minutes to go, Tomo leads, Ken Houseel 2nd, Obedia 3rd, Patry 4th, Kessel in 5th. And with the MX-5 leaders, they're still cooperating, but Max King and Sean Cromwell, I'm not sure that these guys are on the same page here.
And there you see a dive from the 40 up the inside. Now here comes Max King.
Yeah, that 40 is not for position. He's going to dive off to the left to stay out of the way. This is the battle. These 2 red cars are for position. This would be a podium spot in GMX5.
Cromwell also in this fight in behind that white car. It's a 3-UA battle for 3rd.
Oh, look at the 41 tracking all the way to the edge of the curb, kicking up the grass.
And so I had to look up into 4. Now into turn 5.
And it's so difficult here to be consistent in your braking zones because there's no braking markers around here. There's no objects, there's no nothing. So it's very difficult to spot your braking points, and we've seen some mistakes there tonight. This 3-way battle for 3rd is still heating up. In the front of the field in the touring car category, O'Gorman still leads Houseel by 0.6 of a second. We'll take you there if it gets closer. Pine runs wide. He's out over the edge of the track, and here comes the 41 to the inside for third, and Cromwell's going to follow in the 24 car.
Yeah, mistake's going to cost him dearly. Ooh,
That's Patry in the 98. This is fourth in the touring car class.
A decent recovery for Patry, all things considered. You saw him, he cut the course early, had to give up a huge amount of time back, and fell as far back as 7th. He's worked his way back up into 4th.
Just about 5 minutes to go. And Max King has Sean Cromwell right on the rear tailpipes. So they're going to run side by side down the front straight. Going to be a Kia, make it 3 wide down the front. Cromwell should be able to clear the 41 by turn 1. I think Max King's got a lot of damage on that car. Could be hurting the performance as well.
See Cromwell get on by into 3rd place. King falling behind in 4th. Pine now trying to get himself back up where he was running as you see the Tide car.
That's Kessel in the 3, and he's going to slot himself in line.
Kessel 5th in the Optimas.
I didn't really ask what they wanted to call this category tonight. I'm just going to... Touring car is what I'm going with. Kias, Optimas, touring car, whatever you want to call it. Front wheel drive, wrong wheel drive machine. Tom won't like me for saying that, but besides the point. A well set up front wheel drive race car, I've been told, is very fun. But I guess
it's a very subtle dig.
I'll have to take their word for it. I guess in iRacing, I've never really enjoyed front-wheel drive cars, but because 2 of them are awful, and the third one, the TCR, is actually fun. But we only have 1 of them. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. O'Gorman, Hauseal, Obadia, Patry, Kessel, your top 5 in touring car. Frank Taberzi hits pit lane with some damage on his number 72. Peter Enzor in the number 49. We talked about him briefly. Competitor in Spec MX-5 Challenge in the real world, as well as Global MX-5 Challenge, the Battery Tender Series, 8th to 9th.
Yeah, kind of in the middle of no man's land because he's got 15 seconds to the car ahead of him, and then 7 seconds to the car, or 8 seconds to the car in behind. So he's kind of by himself in 9th place.
And the tail end of the touring car field is Francois Brou. He had a pit stop earlier in the race. Don Manning is up in 9th, and Scott Merker in the 77. He'll drive off into turn number 1. He's got Brian McCree about 13 seconds in front of him. And there's a lot of damage on that 25 car.
Kind of nursing this car back. He's done a solid job for the first 30-odd minutes.
Jake King hits pit lane in the 40, and he was just out on track, so I think there was an issue here for the 40 car. Yes, there was. Here's a look. Car off in front. Not sure if that had anything to do with it. Oh, yeah, they had to swerve to miss him.
Oh, and the 14 of Pine got involved as well.
Yeah, that was our, at the time, our 4th or 5th place car.
Yeah. Whoa.
Right on board again, the 14, as he comes out of turn number 2, rather. The 211 rejoins, and he's it's just a bad situation. He gets tagged, and around goes Pine. And you're probably going to hit the wall pretty hard here. No, he missed it. Stays on track, but... Oh, he actually has called it quits right now. Did he get hit back on course?
Oh, I think the suspension's...
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
You see it.
He's like swerving back and forth. Yeah, he's crabbing, so...
So that he's already called it a night. He's already 3 laps down.
Of course, it's a beautiful...
FAF livery, isn't it? The FAF Porsche?
Yep.
There's Sean Cromwell and Max King. This is now your new battle for 3rd place.
Oh, I thought that was me and got into contact with each other.
Wouldn't surprise me. the 41's been into a lot of stuff tonight. They head down over the crest after turn number 2.
Yeah, it's amazing. A car in that state is still running as well as it is, but wow,
here
great
he
run
comes.
for King.
Up for 3rd place to the inside. Can he have it? He's got driver's right.
Cromwell gonna back out, give him the spot.
Tried to cross him over, but had to back out too much. That has fizzled. Up at the front, these two have not left each other the entire race.
I was gonna say, I gotta imagine at some point Scott's gonna make a move. I imagine he's getting a little bit bored staring at the 22's bumper pretty much the entire race so far.
And they're running out of time now. 1:30 left. There'll be 2 laps to go.
Depending on
it is
where
2
the
laps to
leaders
go.
are,
Yep.
yeah.
So we'll have 1 more lap after this one. Tom O'Gorman now leads by 1.8 seconds over Ken Hauseal. This is the battle I'm watching, though, because now it's go time for the 2nd place car. Here we go for the lead. Sam Scott chooses the left side of the track. That's an interesting line through turn 1.
Oh, he's going to go really wide into the next corner here, but there's Kia working on by. He'll let
Scott
Petrie.
Backed way out. Patrie's going to come on through. That's a big gap to leave. He backed out, I think, too much. Now let Maloney kind of run away with it for now. Patry and Kessel, these guys are fighting for position. The two Optimas in your shot. Kessel's got about 9/10 of a second to make up to get there.
Heading into turn 4 for these drivers.
Now I'm really curious to see if Maloney, he's going to get put on the outside lane as Kessel comes up. He's going to try to turn in, but that should... Oh, big slide for Sam Scott.
I think it'll hang out there trying to get back to the rear bumper. The 22's got some work cut out for him here.
Jonathan Murchison and Robert Porter in the 136. Porter was spun around earlier in the night, so a 7th place would be a solid rebound. If he could get 6th, that'd be an excellent night, considering the circumstances. 15 seconds on the clock. Where's Tomo coming on through? This will be white flag this time by. And not quite enough time to slow up. But for Tom O'Gorman, working through lap traffic, white flag, one more lap around New Jersey Motorsports Park.
Whoa, and I think that was it was Don Manning, the 92 that just got all the way.
And now, where are the two MX-5 leaders? About a second apart. I think Scott's a little bit too... Oh, he's going to get... That's going to be terrible for him. He might be able to draft off the Optima a little bit, but he has to make up a full second this lap. That's going to be hard to do.
Here comes the Optima up the inside of the transport group, trying to throw it up the inside of the 22. Man, that's not really going to slow up Maloney a whole lot.
Not enough for sure. Robert Porter and Jonathan Murchison, they'll still have an entire lap to go, but these guys locked in a very tight battle for the 6th spot on the racetrack right now. Patry and Kessel, 4th and 5th. Kessel deep on the brakes, right to the rear bumper of the 98 car. This is the last lap for them as well. Tom O'Gorman working his way through the final couple of corners here, as the rest of the field continues their dogfights.
Yeah, Patry and Kessel. Kessel, I don't think has got enough time to get back to Patry.
Half a century ago, we fought a battle and won the war. Tonight, Tom O'Gorman will win the battle, and he'll get it done at New Jersey Motorsports Park across the line, and he'll win at Thunderbolt. Ken Alseal in 2nd place. Obadia will bring home 3rd. Patry and Kessel, they're coming back to the checkers. Patry a little bit wide. Kessel will have contact with an MX-5. Back to the line. This is for 4th and 5th place.
I would be surprised if he didn't get a penalty there. He took a massive amount of curve trying to get back to Patry, but won't be enough. He'll have to settle for 5th position.
Where are the MX-5s? Here's Ryan Maloney coming back to the checkered flag. Sam Scott, half a second back. Had he not made that mistake a couple laps ago, he might have gotten there. Ryan Maloney wins in GMX-5 here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. This isn't over yet, though, for 3rd. Max King and Sean Cromwell.
Whoa.
Cromwell loose. Oh, that gave it all away right there.
Yeah, he was trying to really make up some time through the corner, but lost a lot of time as well.
So podium will go to the 41 of Max King as long as he can get back to the stripe without any drama. And it looks like he will do just that. Then Sean Cromwell and Forrest Landy will round out the rest of your top 5 here in GMX5. Robert Porter rebounds for a 6th place result after an early spin. Well done there by Robert Porter in the 136. Murchison in 7th in the number 21. Then Peter Enzer back in 8th. And that is all the drivers we had on this lap. Woo, boy. That was something.
It was.
You out of breath? I'm out of breath.
I'm a bit surprised that we didn't see how Seal get back to O'Gorman. I'm surprised that pretty much after we saw that gap get to about a second, it kind of maintained. It actually expanded to 2 seconds by the end of the race.
Tom O'Gorman, this is ordered by overall results. So Tom O'Gorman wins. Sam Scott finishes in 2nd in GMX5 to Ryan Maloney. Then Sean Cromwell back in 4th. Forrest Landy back in 5th. Enzer 8th, as we already mentioned. We had about 13 TCRs start the... I'll make that more like 11. Start the race. We had 9 finish. We lost Kenton Cook early in the going. He finished 18 laps down in this 26-lap race. You know, Waxman also out in the GMX5 category. So is DJ Alessandrini, who had such a good run going, but didn't end up getting that any farther after getting involved in a collision. But there's your top 10 results in overall order. O'Gorman, Hauseal, Obadia, Patry, Kessel, McCrea, Merker, Manning, Francois Brou, and of course the GMX5 winner, Ryan Maloney. We're going to try to grab some of these drivers for interviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV in the Washington, D.C. region SCCA iRacing League. We're here now with Ken Alseal, who finished in second place tonight in his number 27. Ken, an incredible battle there with IMSA driver Tom O'Gorman there in the closing laps, but it seemed like he just got away and he couldn't quite get back to him. What'd you need to catch that 94?
A few little course cuts there. I was trying to make moves on Miatas and got unlucky with course cuts. Tom and I were pretty much running the same pace, so it was a fantastic battle. I wish it could have played out a little differently, obviously, but lots of fun. Man, that was some chaos.
It seemed like it was kind of slicing and dicing through the Miatas there. Walk me through a lap around this racetrack with all those Miatas. Where was a bad place to catch them versus a good place to catch them?
So the first few corners were sometimes okay, depending on the timing, but high speed, and they're at the limit of grip sliding sideways, and we're just sort of driving through corners. That's not a great place to catch them. It was good to catch them into 4 and 5. You can make a move there, and then again leading into the octopus sections, you could make moves there, and obviously coming out of the octopus was a fantastic place to catch them, but it's hard to time that.
And I wish you congratulations. It was a solid run there, a little bit short of a race win, but looks like you had a lot of fun out there, so thanks for talking to us. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
Moving on now to race winner Tom O'Gorman in the number 94 car. And Tom, for a couple laps there, it got really dicey with some lap traffic, but you were able to drive away from Ken Alseal after he got himself some penalties. Just walk us through your night, charging up through the field and getting up to the lead and staying there.
Hey, you're telling me. Honestly, I came into this one just with I'm going to conserve tires. I'm just going to conserve tires because I've heard horror stories about this car with long runs. And this is actually my first time running this car in any sort of sustained session or race. And then the first time we came through the MX-5s, it became abundantly clear that it didn't matter how much tire you had or whatever. It was just about getting through the MX-5s. It's very reminiscent of Lime Rock, to be honest, TCR MX-5 combo. Except not as clear as to exactly where to go because the track changes directions a lot more. So I think I got fairly lucky with traffic overall, other than one car spinning across my nose and getting me some damage. I was a little slow in a straight line, but I only just found out now talking to Ken that he had some slowdown penalties, which probably is the only thing that kept me in the race a couple times. But pretty happy to have a casual Friday night. I took the Friday night margarita and race approach that worked for so many people on Grid Life on Tuesday, and it worked great. So here we are.
Well, this car is obviously somewhat different than the TCR car that you're familiar with. What are the differences, and how does it drive in comparison to the Audi RS3 TCR?
I would say this thing's more of a blunt hammer than it is a fine-tuned instrument. Just a little less sophisticated. It bumps around quite a bit on the curbs. It gets upset a lot easier and doesn't forgive nearly as much. And you've driven the TCR car in the game. You know that that's not a very forgiving machine. It is. So the TCR is a little more precise, a little more compliant, and this car can be an absolute handful. So that's why I was just trying to minimize inputs, minimize all of the exertion down to the surface, save as much tire as I could. And then once we got to the traffic, it was just elbows out, arms out, flailing, trying to get through as fast as I could.
Well, you flailed right to the front, Tom. Congratulations on that solid run. Race win here tonight in the DC SCCA.
Story of my life. Thanks, Kyle.
Have a good night. Ryan Maloney was the driver that took home the race win in GMX5. Ryan, an excellent battle there with Sam Scott, but he made a mistake with a couple laps to go, and it looks like you were able to just drive off in the distance. How much of that was working together with him, and how much of that was just trying to run away from him the whole time?
Yeah, I was trying my best just to get away and try to break that draft, but I kept making mistakes myself too, so kept bringing him back in it. But yeah, it was fun racing with him.
Tonight, it was pretty wild to watch the Kia Optimas work their way through the traffic. What was it like from your perspective, watching those cars come up in the mirror? What was the closing rate like, and how chaotic was it behind the wheel?
Yeah, they closed in real fast, and I mean, there's a couple times where there's just nothing that they can do. They just have to go for the pass. So it really didn't hurt me too much. Might have hurt Sam a little bit, but that's mixed class racing for you.
Ryan, thank you so much for talking to us. It was really fun to watch you battle with Sam Scott there. It got a little wild there with the traffic, but congratulations on your race win, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for the interviews here tonight, Finney. That's going to wrap up what was an excellent night of racing. 2 races that we did, one with the American Sedan Series and one with the DC Region SCCA. One last run through our race results here. Tom O'Gorman, of course, Ryan Maloney, both winning in each category. But it's going to be a week off next Friday. Then we head to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for the final round of this little mini season we're doing here at the DC SCCA. So fun night tonight at New Jersey Motorsports Park.
Yeah, really crazy stuff, especially for the drivers out there. Again, a fairly tight course, especially when it comes to mixed class racing. We saw a few incidents here and there, but a lot of great passes through the traffic, especially for our, I almost said TCR leaders.
Close enough.
I'm thinking front wheel drive. I've been looking at the TCR quite a bit, but yeah, the Kia Optima. Those guys did a great job. And also, that was just a really fun quote by Otamo. What did he say? It's not a... It's a blunt hammer, not a finely tuned instrument. I think that's. I want that on a shirt.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching here on Sim TV. If you're brand new to the network, make sure you hit the subscribe button to support us. And if you're watching on the SCCA or the DC Region SCCA Facebook page, drop a like. We'll be back in 2 weeks for Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. For us, tomorrow will be the Hoosier SCCA Esports Super Tour from, where are we tomorrow? We're at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, I believe. Are we? Where? Oh, COTA, right, Austin, Texas. That'll be at 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you catch us over there on the SCCA's official YouTube channel and Facebook page. Sunday will be GT Rivals action in Assetto Corsa Competizione. That will be on the GT World YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. See you next time.
Millville, Connecticut is home to a piece of American history. In Cumberland County, an airfield, Millville Municipal Airport. In 1941, it became America's first defense airport, playing a key role in World War II military operations. It opened as a gunnery school for fighter pilots, training in the Republic P-47. In 4 years, 1,500 pilots were trained on this aircraft before defending the country from threats in Europe and the Pacific. This aircraft was nicknamed Thunderbolt, now the name of one of the tracks in the complex that sits adjacent to the airfield today. Built on 500 acres of land, New Jersey Motorsports Park contains 2 courses, Thunderbolt and Lightning, named after the P-38 fighter. The 2.25-mile Thunderbolt course has 12 turns, rising and climbing over crests and twisting and turning through the New Jersey countryside. Long straights, including the Jersey Devil, let speeds climb before heavy braking zones into sweeping corners. The lap finishes with a seemingly endless right-hander, before snapping left and heading back to start-finish. It's been graced by national-level racing, Grand Am, ARCA, Trans Am, and the AMA Superbike Championship. At New Jersey Motorsports Park, drivers go to war. It means something different now than it did then, but the ultimate goal is still to win. It may only have opened in 2008, meaning history is being written rather than read. But the ground on which it lays has rumbled for over half a century, under Thunderbolts, since 1941.